is one I want to talk about, not because it's North Carolina falling apart, but Caleb Love going to Michigan. And Matt, I want to be honest, I kind of want to talk about this one because this one kind of fits what you and I were talking about as why the Big Ten needs to adapt. I look at Michigan, and they're losing a couple guys, but they're most notably they're losing a big. Now they're bringing in a modern combo guard to replace as a star player. Is this kind of the type of moves that need to keep happening to gain momentum for the Big Ten to change their style of play?
Yeah, but here's the thing that scares me about this, Les. Like you said, you mentioned Hunter Dickinson's transferring, but let's not forget who else they're losing.
Jed Howard, yeah.
Jet Howard's gone. Kobe Bumpkin's gone. Um, Joey Baker declared that he's leaving the basketball world today. I mean, Michigan's got a pretty gutted roster right now. They've added Caleb Love, of course. They've added Trey Jackson, a very good 6'10" power forward coming over from the Big East and Seton Hall. They've got some recruits coming in. George Washington the third, good shooting guard coming in, but you can't have two shooting guards. But while I think it's a good move for Caleb Love, I wonder how much of the offense is going to have to be him at this point, because there's a lot of. I don't know if Jalen Llewellyn can come back if he can from that torn ACL. If he's got a year of eligibility still left, I'm assuming he took a medical red shirt because he didn't play many games. If he plays like that, then yeah, they're going to be fine. I think Michigan, like Michigan State, because of who their coach is, are going to be one of the Michigan and Michigan State, because of who their coaches are, two of the teams who adapt to the modern-ish style of basketball the best, and that includes Caleb Love, who you said is a more modern two guard. But he's going to put up a lot of shots a game. We know that. So it'll be interesting to see whom. While it's the right move for a Big Ten school, right now Michigan's 21st overall in the recruiting rankings between transfers and their recruiting class coming in. Depending on who they get back, I think they're definitely going to be a team to watch out for, because I think they're going to play kind of like that anti-Big Ten regular season style basketball, or maybe they don't, exactly beat everybody, but they get into the NCAA tournament with a fairly good record, and that's when guys like Juwan Howard, who just bring in the most talented guys they can get, will shine. So yeah, it's a good move. It's a good move, but I'm still worried. I'm a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see basically how Michigan constructs the rest of that roster with as many losses as they're taking at the moment.
Which is a very good point. But my thing is, they're going to need, like you said, they're going to need Caleb Love to be the it guy year one, or if they want to have any kind of success. My thing is, from experience as a Duke fan, he has no problem being that it guy. He is not lacking in confidence. This is a guy who will pull up from the logo and spray on you if you're not careful. Yes, I know he struggled with efficiency this year, but this is a guy that when he is feeling it, there is not a player in the country that can stop him.
But, Les, there is one thing. There is somebody who can that he hasn't played yet.
Who is that?
Officiating.
Oh, touche.
There is that question of like, how do you adapt to the fact these guys aren't going to call it when you take an elbow to the neck unless they absolutely have to.
But I mean, you're not going to be getting too many elbows from the neck if you're pulling up from the logo at the same time.
Big Ten.
Touche. But still.
Big Ten.
But anyways, Caleb Love, usually when you see a player that is struggling with this kind of efficiency, you kind of need him to have a change of scenery. And I think this is exactly what this mood was. And I'm going to be honest, I don't understand a lot of the flack that Juwan Howard is getting on Twitter, because Caleb Love, he made it very clear that he wants to go to a coach that's going to hold him accountable. And they're like, oh, well, that's not Juwan Howard. Well, how do you know? I mean, do you know Juwan Howard? I mean, Juwan Howard, I always thought was a good coach. I mean, am I missing something here, Matt?
No, I think the problem is that every year Michigan has a really talented roster. And especially the past 2 years, they've either struggled to get into tournament or missed it entirely. And I feel like people are forgetting the fact that, like, Michigan, especially this year, lost their starting point guard for the year. Their highly touted transfer in the second game of the year, pretty much. And so it's really hard to judge a coach when he's losing that much all at once. So I feel like Juwan Howard is almost a victim of his own success, because it's like we've talked about in the past. Guys like Musselman, guy are hard to evaluate as coaches because when you play that style of basketball, when you go after the superstars and try to get some recruits to go in there too, it's going to take months to gel when you have that much turnover on your roster every year. And it just becomes it becomes a matter of talent and racing against the clock to figure out when you're going to put it together and praying that you put it together in time and have enough good individual performances to get you into the NCAA tournament. Because once you get to the promised land, championship week, NCAA selection Sunday, that's when like a team with that much talent can really shine. And we've seen that happen in the past. But because of that, when that doesn't work out, and it doesn't always work out, we have a tendency to be quick to judge and be like, oh, well, they're just not a good coach. Instead of realizing that coaches who do that are micromanaging personality after personality every single year. And I feel like that's really what hurts Juwan Howard the most, is that he deals in so much talent that like when the rosters come together, it's a beautiful thing. And when they don't, is when we're like, oh, terrible coach. Instead of realizing maybe that the chemistry just ain't there. And that's just modern basketball.
Unfortunately. Yeah. But anyways, I guess the main point that we talked about is Caleb Love. It might, as of right now, Caleb Love is going to have to be the guy. But I guess my next question is, with Caleb Love falling into place, how much does this, I guess, flip over the domino that makes other people want to join Michigan now?
Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
Just Michigan, just not the Big Ten in general. Let me
Michigan,
okay.
Yes.
I think it does. I mean, especially if Juwan Howard rehabilitates that image. Because like we said, that North Carolina team this year was just one of the great unmitigated disasters in college basketball history, period, end of statement. If he can go through it and, shape up his image a little bit, turn him into that dude who's dangerous from the logo, that's going to make more people fall in line, I think. But there are also dudes out there who probably don't want to play with a guy who's going to be that ball dominant. It's a give and take. It's just who you attract as a player. Who do you vibe with? And getting guys like that in to help fill out your roster construction. Because there are some guys who I know who have probably been at places like, Harvard, Princeton, Northern Colorado, Colorado State, who have been like dying to be like the guy at a big school. And if you're playing with Caleb Love, yeah, you're playing with a supremely talented guy, but you're also playing with a guy who's going to want that ball in his hand every possession, especially on ones that matter. And so it's just a matter of mindset, who you attract, who you're friends with, who you can vibe with, and how other people perceive you as a player. And if that all falls into place, then it's perfect and wonderful. If it doesn't, and you're just the guy, then it's just you. It's on you.
Yeah, and I've been listening to several podcasts, and they're talking about guys that transfers that Michigan should go after. And there's too many for us to name right now as we still have more players to get to. But there's a common theme. They're all athletic, off the ball style players.